So I was thinking about what's going on in the world, like I do all day, every day. And today I actually had an article come through that I wanted to talk about. And it really only impacts my local area and my little county and corner of the world. So it's not a big deal in the grand scheme of things. But I feel like this issue is something that I'd like to talk about because I think it's an example of how the Great Reset is already taking place. And if you're not familiar with the Great Reset, go watch them. There's so much YouTube content about it, talking about what it is. But in short, it's the World Economic Forum's idea of what the future global economy is going to look like. And there needs to be this great reset on capitalism to instill all these different things that are going to be, basically a huge new monetary policy and how money and assets and things like that work in the world. It's a very brief, quick summary of it. But one of the pillars of the Great Reset is universal basic income, or UBI. And we've started to see the prevalence of UBI by federal governments, by state governments, local governments, things like that. And I have an example of one here that doesn't seem like it's that menacing. Like it's not, you know, one of Klaus Schwab's very evil mastermind plans where the machines are going to be working for us and the poor are just going to be servants and all that. I'm ranting here, but anyway, this really appears harmless, but it truly is an example of UBI. Except it's not really universal. It's income, but it's not universal because it's not for everybody, um, and it's government sponsored. So let me talk about it. So this article is letting people know there's assistance available for residential utilities in the form of water bills and wastewater bills. So basically, what this is this organization, which is a nonprofit, is teaming up with a Department of Development, a state department, and they've established a set of criteria that people can apply. And basically, the criteria is like, send us your most recent utility bills, a list of your household members, proof of income for the last 30 days, proof of citizenship, things like that. So, basic requests. And basically, what this Department of Development is going to do is it's going to fund this assistant program for certain people that meet the criteria that they've established for this. And it's not a lot of money. It's $1,500 up to $1,500 per calendar year. Okay, and the idea behind it is to help them, especially people that are below the poverty line, pay their utility bills so their water doesn't get cut off, so their sewer doesn't get cut off. Things that we really need to have. You have to have clean drinking water, right? You can't live very long without that. So it on the surface, it seems like okay, they're trying to identify the most need worthy people because of their income level, okay, or lack thereof income, I should say, and they're trying to help them, and it seems like a really noble cause, and there's a lot of altruism behind it. We're trying to help the poor, right, and we're trying to make sure they have drinking water. These are all good things. I want to help people that need help. However, with the government doing it, the only way that government has money to help people is by taking it from somebody else. And so that's done in the form of taxation. And so this government department is taking taxes from the state and using it to fund this program. There's no other way they can do it. It has to come from tax revenue. So basically, you sign up for this. If you meet the criteria, you get checks or you get your bills covered. I don't know what it is. Um, that's a, a form of basic income, guaranteed or government funded income. And it's a cornerstone of the Great Reset and the World Economic Forum. And this is starting at a very small level. And I think people are mistaken in that they think the Great Reset's going to be like the president of the United States or all the central banks are going to get together and say, you know what, money's done. Here's a digital currency that you can use, and we'll just start sending $5,000 a month to everybody's bank accounts, and we can all shut up and just not work anymore. something like that, right? So they think it's going to be this top-down approach where the federal governments are going to step in and say, or they think, well, the federal governments will start small and say, well, we want to start a new central bank digital currency in the form of a Fed coin or a U.S. dollar coin, and we're going to just start sending you $100 a month or something like that. You can spend it on whatever you want. Have fun with your free money. And it could be either one of those ways. But today, I'm seeing this happen, and I've seen it in other localities in the United States and other countries as well, where governments are starting to set these guidelines and criterias out for different citizens to sign up and get essentially free money, whether it's to help cover bills or whatever. And so, you know, universal basic income is already here. It's not the same as what people might realize, but or think about, but it's here in different ways. And that's unfortunate because you know as well as I know this money isn't free. It's coming from somewhere. Um, and it's being distributed under the guise that the government's trying to help and do better for the poorest people in a community. And in the end, it's just going to end up costing everybody more. Why aren't they, withholding their income tax from these people, or stop withholding income tax from these people, and doing something like that? Why do they have to take the money, filter it through their big bureaucracy and departments, and then redistribute it to people based on guidelines that they set up? It's kind of suspicious, isn't it? So UBI is on the way. It's here in some forms. It's not called the same thing, but it's here. And so this is a small case in my little area. It's really an insignificant thing, but over time, these types of programs start up and they never go away, and they only grow, and more people get on them, and they get bigger and bigger and bigger as time goes on, and nobody shuts them down or even knows they're happening. So that's why I want to talk about it. So in your area, I'd be curious to know, where do you live? Where, do you have programs like this? Are you on a program like this? That's okay. I'm not judging. Um, just curious to see what examples of UBI are out there already before our eyes, and the Great Reset hasn't even happened yet, or has it? Who knows? You let me know. See you in the next one.